This is Jesus Manuel Mena Garza. I hope you're having a fantastic day. I've checked my discussion page on my YouTube channel for this specific channel, and there's been some requests for me to go over some basic principles of photography, basic principles in contemporary photography in the 1920s, okay? So these are my suggestions on ways to improve your photography, and the same principles I also share with my students at the local college and in the past for the past several decades, okay? So it's an opportunity for you to get some basic ideas on how to take better pictures. Do you want to take better pictures? We all want to take better pictures. I want to take better pictures. You know, we all aspire to be better photographers. Some of us, most of us, the great majority of us, hopefully, okay? So there's two types of photo instructors, okay? Two types of instructors out there, students. Two types. One is my way or the highway. This is the way it's done. And it's been done this way for the last, 100 years. And you're gonna follow these principles and do exactly what I say. Okay, you're gonna do exactly what I say. I call those the fascist instructors, okay? They demand obedience, and you follow them, take notes, and do exactly what they say. I admit I'm on the other end of the paradigm, continuum, whatever you want to call it. I am easygoing. I just say to my students, follow what makes you feel good about the photograph. Do what you want. Do something that you find interesting and exciting. I'm only going to give you some guidance. I'm going to give you some guidance, but essentially you have to follow your own dream and aspirations. If a lot of the great photographers followed what's before them, if the F64 group followed the pictorialism, tradition, they would be nowhere, okay? So there's a lot of photographers out there doing their own thing, being creative. And, as an amateur photographer, as a semi-pro photographer, as a professional photographer, you can follow certain, traditions, or you can just break loose and try something new. I know if you're a portrait photographer, there's going to be a certain standard. You're going to have a certain idea. For environmental portrait photography, executive portraiture in their facilities and environments, or in the studio, you're going to follow certain rules. I understand that. I totally understand that. If you want to be a commercial photographer, there's certain expectations, certain, ideas of what's good, okay? But if you're just a person like you and me, who just want to take a nice picture, share it with the world, share it with the family, share it either in an exhibition or just, in a show of showing some photographs, making a small book to share with your family and friends. There's a whole different world out there that we all have an opportunity to explore and share, okay? Some of us see things differently. In my classes, I usually take the students out to field trips, and we come back, and invariably, everybody captures different aspects. Some will gravitate to taking pictures of the flowers and the roses and subtle details in the environment. Others will take pictures of the landscapes and the natural world out there in mountains, streams, oceans, whatever. If we get, not here in Texas, but back in California. So, others will just take pictures of people, they'll sneak up on people and take pictures of them. And that's not a good idea, I don't like that. They do that anyway. Or they'll take pictures of, Americana, some artifacts of American history. And, they'll shoot the Coca-Cola sign or the Standard Oil sign or the old boots in the repair shop and stuff like that. So everybody has a different idea of what's beautiful, interesting, exciting, and what they want to share, okay? So what do you want to share? So I'm going to talk about the basics of what you should do to take a good photograph. You can expand from this, of course. This is just, photography 101, step 1, okay? These are the absolute basics, okay? Okay, I'm going to go over several principles. You don't have to take any notes. Again, am I a fascist instructor? I'm not going to tell you to take those notes, write them down, we're going to have a test next week. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to say, hey, do what you want. Hey, it's your life, it's your world, it's your experience. Go for it. This is the arts. This is not medical science. In medical science, you cut here, you open there, and you fix that. You don't just go, oh, let's try it from the other side. No, that's the arts. Okay, you can do whatever you want in the arts, but in science, in math, it is very specific. Okay, typically. Okay, so we're artists. We can do whatever we want. I went to school with Annie Leibovitz. She did some fantastic. I went to a school with other photographers who became instructors and working for the Associated Press as their main photographer in the Bay Area. Everybody does their different thing, from working as a press photographer to being a photographer for Rolling Stone and doing portraits. Everybody does different stuff. You understand me? Everybody has their own dreams, aspirations, desires, motivations, and interests. So number one on my rule is, it's not necessarily a rule, but it's a suggestion. Just a suggestion. You can do whatever you want. You can do the opposite, okay? It's up to you. Number one rule is to set your camera, the way that you prefer to shoot, okay? Typically, I set my, on my camera, and I've done this ever since they came out with automatic cameras. In the past, we had film that was 400 ASA or 100 or 125 ASA or 25 ASA. You stuck it in there, and you had to set your camera to take a good photograph. You had to set it at 125 at f11 if it was bright daylight and under certain film conditions. Okay, that was set. But now we live in the automatic age. So take advantage of automation so you can focus on what? If you let the camera do its work, you can focus on being creative. Composition. So most photographs that are great photographs are compositionally interesting. Subject matter is interesting. So the subject matter and the composition and the lighting make a photograph. Okay? Everything else is, ancillary. Okay? So if you find something interesting going on over there, or a nice subject, you gotta compose it. You got to make sure the lighting is correct. You got to make sure that your camera is set up to take a nice photograph, okay? And one of the benefits of digital photography, you can look at it and go, oh, that's a good photograph. It's a little dark. Maybe I'll tweak it a little bit. Maybe I'll add a little more, light. Let me try it that way. Click, 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 click. Wow, that came out perfect now. I really like it. Let me zoom in. You zoom in with your camera and you look at it and you go, that looks really nice. I love it. That's a beautiful shot of a barn, okay, or a bird, okay? So, you're focusing on what? Composition, subject matter, and lighting. If it's backlit, if you like backlit, that's your prerogative. If it's side lit, if you like that, that's your prerogative. If it's lit a certain way, if it's, if there's a little drama going on in the clouds, or, add a little excitement to the photograph, go for it. There's a lot of ways to capture a photograph. If you look at a landscape, infrastructure, even a portrait sometimes, if there's a little drama going on behind it, like a nice, landscape, or a nice background, or, certain colors, it adds to the photograph, okay? Typically in portraiture, you want to keep the background out of focus. But in landscape photography, infrastructure photography, you want everything in focus. So, you know the difference between f2.8 and f16, don't you? f2.8 on most cameras, f3.5, f4, have very shallow, typically shallow depth of field. Not much stuff is going to be in focus. If I focus on you, the background typically is going to be out of focus. So the focus is going to be on who? It's going to be on you or the building the dog, the pony, the horse, the wolf, the bear attacking you. You know, it's all going to be they're going to be in focus, okay? Everything else is going to be fuzzy. But I'd say, for example, you're Ansel Adams or a member of the F-64 group. You're shooting a landscape. The foreground, the midground, the background, the sky, everything's going to be in focus at what? F22, F32, or in their case, F64 with a high quality lens. Typically, most consumer lenses, once you get to the 22s and 32s, they start having some issues. They're not as sharp, okay? So I recommend if you have a consumer lens, we're talking about a lens, under $1,000. Typically, you want to shoot at if it's F22 is the maximum, you want to shoot at F16 or 11, okay, if you want a lot of depth of field, okay? Just saying, it's up to you, okay? So you got all this composition going on, you got great lighting, you got a lot of interest. You're sad. So you take a lot of photographs. That's another suggestion I make to my students. Take, plenty of photographs, move it down a little bit. I do this all the time when I'm traveling. Move it down a little bit, move it a little up, move it down. Let's get a little closer, let's zoom out. Let's see what happens. And then eventually you go, I'm always surprised. The first photograph is the one I like. The other ones I don't like. It's your prerogative, okay? So what do we go over today? Very, very specifically, you have to follow your own dream, okay? What you like. I'm not going to tell you what to like. I'm not going to tell you what to photograph. Hey, who wants to see those photographs? Hey, you want to see those photographs. First of all, you got to make yourself happy. Since 1963, I've been photographing things I find interesting. Unless somebody pays me. And, I had a photo studio in Silicon Valley and in Austin and stuff. I photograph a lot. Commercial work. If somebody tells me to photograph that group, or that person, or that building, I'm going to photograph it for them, and I'm going to have a conversation with them. What do you want in that photograph? Well, it's going to be the cover photograph for our annual report, so we want this, that, that. You take notes, and you photograph it, and you follow what they want, and you try to understand what they want. That's their dream, not my dream. So you photograph it and you show it to them and they go, yeah, I like that one specifically. And you edit that photograph and you supply it to them and they go, isn't that fabulous? That photograph of our building in downtown San Francisco. It's absolutely gorgeous. Okay, you got all the lines straight and it's in focus and blah, blah, blah. Or that computer, or that mouse, which I photographed. I used to have a studio in Silicon Valley. I used to photograph some weird stuff. I used to work also for the Chamber of Commerce of Silicon Valley, and I used to photograph their events. A lot of heavyweights in the high-tech industry doing their portraits in their offices, infrastructure photographs, etc. Okay, so I have a little tiny bit, a very tiny bit of experience. Okay, so those are people that are going to pay you. You're going to ask them as many questions of what they want to take a picture. And you're going to try to produce something that makes them happy. Either they're going to be happy or they're going to be absolutely agitated and go, man, I told you this and you did that? Well, I took license and I did my thing. No. For them, you do everything what they want, okay? But for yourself, do your thing. Have a good time. Take some photographs. You're in the Bahamas. Take some photographs of what you want: the oceans, the people, your partner, and having a great time. If you're in Europe, you're taking some photographs in Japan, Korea, China, wherever you are. Take some nice pictures. It's your dream. It's what you want. It's what you're gonna do. It's your camera, your brain that's processing this stuff. You know what you want. Here's the second part of this video. I'm going to talk about lenses. Okay, lenses are critical to different kinds of photography. If you're going to travel around in like a community and you want to take pictures of the people, infrastructure, typically you're going to shoot with what? A wide angle lens. In a full frame camera, that's a 20, 24, 35. Okay, in a medium, my camera here, my Lumix G85, you know, it's Micro Four Thirds camera. I almost forgot what it was. Micro Four Thirds. Micro Four Thirds camera is going to be, you know, a 10, 12, 14, you know, that kind of range, okay? Those are wide lenses. You're going to typically shoot with those kinds of lenses or zoom lenses that have that capacity, okay? So if you're going to do a portrait, you're going to shoot with a telephoto, a medium telephoto. Typically on a full frame camera, that's a 85, 100, 135, and 300 millimeters if you have the space for that. That requires you being way back. So you're going to shoot with that kind of camera. In a Micro Four Thirds camera, you're shooting at, you know, 60, 80, 100, 200 millimeters, okay? And APS-Cs are somewhere in the middle, okay? Why do you want to shoot with a telephoto? Because it compresses the face. You don't want a person typically, and we have cultural standards. You can ignore what I say. It's your prerogative. Maybe you want a person to have their nose look bigger and their ears to go way back and their, you know, lot. But we've been trained, brainwashed by our society to believe that small noses and ears in a certain place look better, okay? Compressed faces, okay? I've been brainwashed. Have you been brainwashed? You've been watching all these commercials since we're 5 years old and saying, yeah, this is how it's done, this is how the beautiful people, and that's what we, you know, want to produce. Something that our customers or friends or people we know like, okay? So we photograph them with the medium telephoto lens. Let's say you want to photograph birds, or want to go to the zoo and photograph the gorillas, the tigers. You want a telephoto lens. If you're a full frame camera, you want 300, 500 millimeters. The more millimeters, the better. You can get some really nice photographs. And of course, those lenses cost a little bit of money, okay? And Micro Four Thirds, you want to use, you know, 100, 200, 400 millimeters, okay? Those are fantastic lenses for that kind of stuff. Again, what are you going to photograph with that? Birds, going to the zoo, going to the beach, birds. I've sometimes, you know, brought the wrong lens. I'm at the beach, and I said, wow, I want to photograph that bird. I take a couple pictures with my standard lens, and I'm going, man, I'm that tiny. It's tiny over there. You can't even see it. So you need what do you need? A super telephoto, okay? So, and the final point that I'm going to talk about here in my Photography 101 module, you know, if you're one of my students, feel free to contact me. You know, some of my students watch my videos. Or if you're just a person out there in the community, feel free to contact me. I'm more than happy to answer your questions. Again, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And don't forget to leave your kind and friendly comments below, below the description, okay? I'd appreciate it. So, what was I talking about? Oh yeah. If you're going to go out there and take photographs, it's important that you take your time. Don't take snapshots. Snap, 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 snap. Just don't go out there and just, you got to actually think. You go process. You look through the viewfinder, you look at all the corners, you go, yeah, that's a beautiful photograph of that tiger rushing towards me. That's absolutely, this is going to be beautiful when he's about 6 feet away from me. That's what you do. You take your time to, you know, to focus, to look at the edges, and you compose your image. Then you take a couple pictures, then you modify it, take a couple different angles and move around a little bit, and just shoot that photograph, okay? Take, you know, dozen, 2 dozen photographs. It's up to you. It's your choice. It's your camera. It's the way you want to do things, okay? It's your perspective. It's your money and expense. It's up to you what you want to do. Again, there are a lot of fascist photographers out there. My way or the highway. These are the hard and fast rules. In surgery, you want hard and fast rules. In math and science, you want hard and fast rules. But in the arts, hey, it's cool. Let's just have some fun and do something interesting. Maybe, just maybe, some of our photographs will come out amazing, brilliant, exhibition worthy. People in your family go, wow, that's really nice. Yeah, I tried something different and it came out very, very nice. I really like this photograph. You know, share it with your friends, get some comments. It's important to get some comments about your photographs. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me. This has been Jesus Manuel Mena Garza. This has been a short, hopefully informative video on what to do as a photographer to get a great photograph. Just examples and ideas. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to contact me. Send your friendly and kind comments below and, ask me some questions. Look at the ball over here. So, from Fort Worth, Texas, this has been Jesus Manuel Mena Garza. I appreciate you watching my video. Gracias. Adios. Bye-bye.